I want to take a minute and talk about this painting right here. So I hung it on the wall and I wasn't quite sure if it was done, as when is it done, right? But, just kind of wanted to give it some time, and I'll come home and I'll look at it like, hey, I like that red painting. I've been doing a series of these abstract paintings, and they're very red, and there's just marks going horizontally and vertically, and there's drips, and it has a lot of these same techniques that I've been working with for years, but they're a lot more just purely abstract. It's like the paintings I've primarily been working on have been portraits of faces very close up, eyebrows to chin, and they'll be like 4 feet wide, and I'll use that not so much as a portrait of that person, but more of a composition for the painting. So as I'm working on it, it's going to look like a person because of light and dark and just the composition that I'm already doing. But as I'm doing it on the large scale, it's like the paint's been moving around. It really, I'm making, to me, abstract paintings. It's like that's that, I'm just loving using the paint itself and seeing how it ends up on the canvas and how a different layer interacts with that, and sort of working with it and seeing what comes out. So what's that have to do with this? Well, this painting originally was a portrait. It was a profile of a guy on the street. I took a picture, and you can see here's his forehead, here's his eyes, his nose comes over here, and this is the bottom of it, and his mouth's open, and he's like lost in this world of oil paint. So it was, that painting, I finished it. I worked on it. It was kind of to the point where I thought it was finished, and looking back on it now, I'm like, well, that was not really that successful of a painting. Kind of ended up where I wanted it to, and there kind of wasn't anything there. So it was sort of, I kind of needed more interaction with the work, needed more struggle. It was like, it's a failure because it was too successful. But to me, it just didn't seem like there was quite enough going on. I thought it was kind of a weird painting. And also, on a personal level, when you're painting a profile, like, I don't want to do a painting of ears. No one wants to see ear paintings. It's just like, is that something that's interesting? Not to me. So what's fun about this painting is I've started these abstract paintings, and they're like, oh, well, now you're doing these abstract paintings. What about the other paintings that you used to make of the faces and the skinny guys and all that? It's like, well, I'm still making those paintings, and I'm painting some right now, but I've been enjoying this abstract where it's just like, I'm not worried about following the contours of the face and the cheek and rendering to whatever level I'm rendering. I'm just putting that white paint there and red paint here and over here, and I'm letting it drip. And there's some fun stuff that happens where it's just like, it's dripping and it's interacting with the background, and it's kind of like harshly beautiful because it's like, it's not quite working out. And I'm like fighting it and dabbing it here and there, and it's just like, the paint itself is sort of part of the subject, as opposed to it's just a means, it's just a medium that I'm using to express myself. I'm expressing myself through the oil paint. The oil paint is a crucial part of it. So all paintings I've ever done, they can be about a million different things that I can, go on and on about, but they are about the paint because that's what I'm dealing with at the time. That's what I'm expressing myself with. So, I'm not worried about what this is. It just becomes what it is through the process of it. So this has been this is interesting painting at this point because it's the old painting with sort of a newer thing that I'm working with on top of it. And I actually think it's kind of interesting. So there's the painting. All right.